Here she is.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good
Hold on.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm trying to find your camera, dear.
Hi. Oh,
Let's find Zaya.
I can see her. And she has
Oh,
yeah, I
background with
hope
your
the
mirror.
background noise. Yeah, with the mirror. I hope the background noise isn't so much.
no. It isn't, honey.
Okay, that's
Oh,
great to know.
lovely. Hello there, Zaya.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah,
How have you been doing so far, Zaya?
So far I'm trying to slow things down, as I guess I've been a bit burned out with too much sessions that I've been doing. But I'm trying my best to read on articles in order to keep my creative juices flowing for the part 2 especially.
Oh, lovely. Creative juice. That's very creative of you. Anyway, are you currently working, Zaya?
Currently, I am not working, as my agency has tried to not really to convince me to stop working in order for me to focus not only in my nursing licensure exam but also in my IELTS, as it somehow needs a great detail of focus and attention.
Okay. And you're bound to go to the United States, isn't it?
Yes, that's where I'm planning to go, as I have cousins as well as a grandmother there. So it'll be convenient for me to stay there and to work there, as well as the fact that there are a lot of opportunities, not only for work, but also for further studies, which I am really fond of.
Lovely. Okay, so just before we proceed, this is a very good example of fluency to everyone. It's not about the accent. It's not about being able to speak straight English. It's just that when I ask her a close-ended question, when I ask Zaya a close-ended question, he does not simply answer close-ended. She is able to expound further on the question. I just ask her of a yes or no question, but she's able to fluently explain further. So this is a very good example of achieving the criteria of fluency in the speaking IELTS. When you're asked of something close-ended, don't just answer close-ended. You need to answer further. You need to expound your answers. Not speak much, but you need also to speak that is related to the question. You need to relate your answer, or when you expound something, you need to relate it to the question being asked. Right? Okay, Zaya, are you ready for the speaking test part 1?
As I'll ever be.
Okay, where are you right now? Sorry to ask.
Currently, I'm in the Philippines, specifically in Iloilo, which is located in the second main island of the Philippines.
Iloilo. I'm also from the city of love, Iloilo City.
Oh, it's great to see a fellow Ilonggo.
Yeah.
Hi, hello.
Hello there. Okay, so you've noticed her, like when she speaks something that is local, like he spoke about where she's from, and that is Iloilo. It's very clear, and she explained where it is located. What is the place all about? Where is the place all about? So, just like with Sir Oscar a while ago, when he mentioned about Manila, it's very essential for us to explain to the examiner something that is local, like what is Manila, because no one would understand like what is that place or where is that place, isn't it? Okay, now, before we begin your speaking test part 1, can you please state your complete name?
Hello, my name is Izayami Suarez.
All right, Zaya. Zaya, what is your favorite weather and why?
That's a tough question, as there are a variety of weather all over the world. However, I'd rather choose enjoy to bask under the light of the glorious sun. I can also do whatever I want, like read in the park or even just go on picnics by the sea.
All right. Zaya, which do you prefer using, mobile phone or computer?
That depends on the situation. However, I find mobile phones, especially smartphones, handy, as you don't only have a camera, but also you have a calculator, you have a ebook reader, as well as something you can call your loved ones as well to inform them where you currently are. So I think I'll be better off using mobile phones than laptops or computers.
Okay, Zaya, do you love blue skies?
Absolutely. As a person who likes to admire the celestial things above us, I I usually go out whenever it's a sunny weather to just look at the clouds, especially the nimbus clouds, as they are emblazoning the blue skies with such vibrant white colors for me.
All right, lovely. Now, Zaya, my next question is, what are the profession that you're proud of?
That's a tough question because nursing, for that matter, has gamut of morals and ethics wherein we involve ourselves into. However, the thing that strikes me the most is being patient advocates. Why? Because we get to be the ones who not only inform them, but we also are the ones who somehow symbolize and defend them and to know what is important but also what's good for them. And it is somehow a great opportunity, but also, oh, sorry for the background, but also say an honor to represent someone, especially who is sick and who is someone who is incapable of doing these for themselves.
All right, lovely. Now, Sir Jeff, can you please flash the cue card for the speaking test part 2 for Zaya, and she'll be given.
And then do with this. Hello, do I start now? Hello?
Right, lovely. You can start now. Your timer starts now.
All right.
Hello, Saya. I think you're unmute, Saya. You're unmute.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, sorry. The cue card was removed from my screen.
You want to put it back? Eric, you're also mute. Okay,
Uh,
I'll put it back.
please, thank you.
Right, Zaya. Are you ready to speak in the next 2 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, Zaya, your 2 minutes starts now.
All right. Now we all have that one program, either in the television or in the radio, that captivated us. Now, in my case, that would be a program named The Boys. Now, it was written by my favorite American writer script director, Erik. Now, this one has piqued my interest the most as it's somehow a metaphor for what is happening now to our society. Also, it's pragmatic. It's realistic in a way, even though that it is fictional and has some other elements added to it. It somehow reflects the atrocious deeds and the felonious things that's happening worldwide. First of all, this begins with a character named Huey. So what happened is that is living in a world wherein superheroes exist, people who can fly, who can shoot lasers out of their eyes. Now, out of this majestic things that is happening all over him, his girlfriend was murdered by one of these superheroes who was supposed to protect him. Now, it is somehow pertinent to whatever's happening worldwide, as somehow it's a metaphor for people who were born in the affluent part of society, those who have a silver spoon up their mouths. Now, the gist of this movie is that nothing can be improved because, in my opinion, it's impeccable and perfect as it is, because you don't see a lot of programs or seasonal movies or even radio programs that show you these elements. As Filipinos, we somehow see a lot of things that involves romance, comedy, and the lot. However, I believe that all of the arts, especially these things that they show over the radios or over the, say, TV, should
Right.
somehow
Lovely. Thank
reflect.
you so much. That's wonderful. Let's now proceed to speaking part 3.
All
Okay.
right.
Now, Zaya, what do you think is the impact of social media on the economy of a country?
That's an awesome question. Now, that deserves an equally great answer. Now, I do believe that the internet has created a range of beneficial things to the economy of each country. Now, I would cite one country, which is Japan, wherein the creation of the internet has boosted their economies. For example, they have launched anime or Japanese animation throughout the internet that caused a lot of buyers to import a lot of, say, big animation figures or even, say, pillows for those characters. And I guess this is a great platform for them to not only let people know about their culture, but also for them to gather a lot of customers and consumers.
All right, lovely. Okay, my next question is, what do you think is the benefit of social media among the elderly?
Hmm. That's a tough question, as mostly older people are not quite interested with the newer or the technology that is born out of the neoteric era that we have currently. However, there are like multifarious ways in which they can benefit from it. First of all, they can now email their grandchildren first, because they don't really need to go to post offices to send their snail mails in order to get in touch with their loved ones. Secondly, they don't need to pay for their phone bills in order for them to call the people who are far from them, because they can now use the internet to just video call or even voice call the people that they love. Also, they can have hobbies. As we all know, these people are prone to dementia and depression. Now, being able to connect with people so easily and the accessibility that internet has given them has somehow decreased the cases of dementia, as per the research that I have read like a month ago.
All right, lovely. This is the end of your speaking test. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Those were tough questions, but I have enjoyed.
I had to give you tough questions because I mean, like, There's no sense of inviting you here if I'll not be giving you tough questions.
Oh,
But
You
I
know
appreciate
what?
it.
Like,
okay.
it's really hard for me because like I've been listening to her answers and listing down the answers. At the same time, I had to think challenging questions for her because I wanted to showcase her ability. You can learn one very good technique with her. She does not answer very aggressively. When I say answer aggressively, I know she's very challenged with the question, and I really made sure that I'll give her very challenging questions because most of us when we are challenged by the speaker, or when we find that the questions very difficult, we tend to stutter, we tend to not be able to speak or to answer the question. Most of us, because of the stress from the question being given to us, we tend to speak without thinking. But for her, she has a very good technique. She would start first with a little introduction, and she would express her feelings of being challenged, or her feelings of having a difficult time. She would start basing, that is a tough question. And she would say it in a very slow pace, in a very slow manner. And I know she does it because it gives her time to relax. It gives her time to breathe in and think how to attack the question. It gives her the opportunity to organize her thoughts. So for those, if you will be given like hard questions, or if you'll be given questions that you don't have the the answers to it at that moment, you need to follow her strategy. Like, just express yourself, because eventually this is a speaking test. If you find the question very very difficult, you can start your introductory statement in a very slow pace and say, oh my goodness, this is a very tough and challenging question, honestly. Right now, there's nothing in my mind. Let me think. You can go like that because it will give you a time to formulate your answers or to think on how to attack the question. So I've noticed for every question that I'm giving to her, which she finds really difficult, she does that. And that is a very good technique. Because anyway, this is speaking. This is about expressing yourself. What else? The same technique as with Sir Oscar. The question for part two is very short. So the main problem was of that is we would suffer like what we call under time. We have finished answering all questions, and there's still lots of time left, maybe 30 seconds or 45 seconds. But with Zaya, what she did is she answered the first question: what is the favorite program or radio that you would like to share about? And why do you listen to it? And before answering the last question, she told us the synopsis of the favorite program that she's been viewing. And I think it's a very good technique to show fluency. Because of the shortness of the question being presented, our tendency would be to stop under time. So if you're presented with these types of questions, you just need to be fluent and present something, speak more, something that is related to the question in the cue card. What else? She's very fluent, and I don't even understand some of the vocabularies that she uses, honestly. And it's very awkward for me to like coach or score someone who's like better than me. If oh my gosh, like if I'm going to get if I got 8.0 twice in the speaking test for the standard IELTS in the UK, the IELTS, what more she can get? Like it could be an 8.5 or 9. I'm out of words, really. Another technique that I've learned from another technique that I wanted to emphasize that we can observe from her is delivery. She speaks very natural, very spontaneous. When you read about the criteria delivery in the IELTS speaking, it says you need to be able to speak as if you're talking to a friend. This is not a formal speaking event. You just need to speak to a friend. That's all. So like when he uses some what you call this, some expressions, like saying that this is a very tough question and answering the questions very naturally, like saying, absolutely. I asked her, do you like big skies? She did not started answering very formally. Instead, she was like talking to a friend. She said, absolutely. That's one of the techniques that you should employ when you take the speaking test, because delivery is number 2 criteria in the speaking test. She's fluent. The train of thoughts does not follow any strategy. It does not follow any technique. It just comes out. But even though there's no pattern to what she's talking about, the train of thoughts is well organized. She does not jump from one concept to another. She focuses on the concept and expounds it. That's all. Vocabulary wise, like, I'm out of words. Like, I did not even understand most of the vocabulary she used, to be honest. And grammar, this is the main problems that we encounter because we're talking with a lot of stress because of the exam. Sometimes we forgot our grammar. We forgot the proper usage of is and are. But for her, it's just like perfect. So I think those are the two things that you have learned from her: the technique of delaying your answer by saying, this question is really tough, because it will give you a chance to think of answers, and just how natural she speaks. You need to answer the question not formally but naturally, just like you're talking to a friend. That's all, Sir Jeff.
Thank you
Okay,
so
let's
much,
Lovely.
Eric.
thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
I think we can read the comments. For say someone said, "Oh my, Tolasa." She's foreigner. She said, "Oh my God, she's just wow. Learn a lot from her." And then Charles L says,
That's why Zaya, like, sorry. Sorry,
Epistaxis
Sir
Part
Jeff.
2. And Roel said that 9.0.
Right. That's why, Zaya, like, when you pass your exam, I hope you can invest some of your time in helping our fellow nurses to also achieve their American or British dream.
Of course,
And
I
I know
will.
that speaking is a very big hurdle to everyone.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
true, because I believe not all of us have the equal opportunity to speak or be educated to speak the way that I am doing so. Because and that way, I guess I can extend my help if by any chance I pass the IELTS the first try this October. I'll do what I can to
absolutely.
help.
Lovely. Fantastic. Amazing.
Thank,
Lovely.
Thank you so much, Sir Eric. Hope to see you soon, I guess.
Hope to
thank,
see you soon when I come home in January.
Oh, okay.
thank, thank you so much,
Thank you so much,
Saya.
Sir Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you
Okay, our next
so much.
candidate would be Mitul. Mitul, you can unmute your mic. No.
Mito.
Mitul Patel.
Sir Jeff, I had a hard time thinking of hard
I
questions
told.
for her.
Okay,
Oh
so
my
we have a
God.
foreign member right now. So let's start
Hi.
for Mitul.
Hello,
Okay, let's unmute. I will unmute myself. Okay.
Hello, Mito. Mito.
Yes.
How do you
Hi.
pronounce your name?
Yeah, Mitul.
Mitul. Okay, Mitul.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I am from India, Ahmedabad.
All right, lovely. And you're a nurse, if I'm not mistaken.
No. Actually, I'm an engineer.
Oh, you're an engineer. And what's your
Yes.
specialization as an engineer?
I'm a mechanical engineer. I work for
All
Currently,
right,
I'm
lovely.
located in
And can you
UAE, Dubai.
Okay, lovely. And can you tell me about your typical day at work, Mitul?
My typical day starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. I start with the opening of my email box and just see what are the important tasks to respond and following up. And then mostly I talk to my co-workers in Indian office and have meetings online and
Hmm.
offline.
And why are you taking the IELTS?
Actually, I'm working for my Canadian
Oh,
PR,
okay. That's the reason why.
so I'm
All
planning to
right.
move. Yeah.
Now, Mitul, let us start your speaking test by stating your complete name for me.
Okay. Yeah. My full name is Mitul Kumar Ishwarbhai Patel. You
All
can
right,
call me
Mitul.
Mitul.
Let's officially start your speaking test, so part one. Mitul, which is more important, reading or listening?
Well, I would say both are equally important. First, you need to listen what the person is trying to convey you, as well as reading will give you more vocab, as well as the command over the writing and the various type of sentences. So both reading as well as listening, both are important in my opinion.
All right, Mitul. Mitul, if I'm going to go to India, what famous festival in India can you share to me?
Actually, there are a bunch of festivals, I would say. It will go in hundreds of count, but the main one which belongs to my place, I'm in from the western part of India, Gujarat. So there are two main festivals. One is called Navratri, and another is Uttarayan, which is a kite festival. So this kite festival is like a very big event. It's an international kite festival where a lot of people come to with the experts. They come with the big kites and all. So you can definitely love that. And Navratri is a 9 days program. If you might have seen, it's like a group dance, and it goes starts at 9 o'clock in the night and goes for a 3 to 4 hours, wherein people just dance in a typical traditional garba for a 3 to 4 hours.
Okay, lovely. Now, my next question is, can you tell me about a famous river in your hometown?
Yeah, the most famous river in my country is Ganga. It has a very traditional history and
Mhm.
very religious belief. People often go there to just clear their sins. It is also said that if you make one bath in this Ganga river, your all the sins will go off.
All right, that's lovely. Okay, Mitul, what's your favorite pastime?
My favorite pastime is playing sports. Like I love playing cricket, and other than playing cricket, I love doing a photography.
Okay, all right. And can you please explain why you love playing that sport and you love doing photography?
Well, as I'm located in UAE now, there are very less option of going outing here or playing a sport. So whenever the winter season is coming, I often prefer to play cricket. I consider it as a part of my workout. Like it's a 3 to 4 hours game. So there are a lot of running, and it increases my stamina. I can come into my shape properly. I can run for. I can have in a relaxed mode with my friends and the
All right,
co-workers.
lovely.
And photography, yeah, yeah, photography, I just like to capture the moments as it is. Like I love bird photography, landscape photography, sometimes a portrait photography.
Okay,
It
lovely.
gives, yeah, it gives me a sense of I would say capturing those image and showing off to my friends and colleagues.
Okay, Mitul, what do you think
Yeah,
is the most negative impact of language barrier to society?
well, that's a difficult question. Language barrier to, well, there are quite a few. First thing would be a communication.
Mhm.
uh, and I had seen such situation like when I went to some different countries or sometimes in different state of India, because we have a lot of varieties of languages. So
Mhm.
certain states they doesn't know the main Indian language, which is Hindi. So it is first thing is the difficult to communicate. You cannot convey your ideas. You cannot convey your feelings, so it is difficult to understand what they are answering and what he is advising you. Or if suppose I'm asking a direction from someone but he doesn't
Yeah.
know a language which I'm asking, then it will be difficult to understand where I want to go and where he is guiding me to go.
All right, lovely. Now, Mitul, let's proceed to the part of your speaking test, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna flash a cue card, and you'll be given
Okay.
1 minute to think of your answer. In the next 2 minutes, you'll be given the chance to speak.
Okay. Flashcard. Okay.
Yeah, let's flash the card, Sir Jeff.
Sorry, I couldn't see.
Okay, sorry.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Stop.
All right, Mitul, your timer starts now,
Yeah.
Mitul. All right, Mitul, are you now ready to
Yeah.
speak in 2 minutes? Okay, Mitul, your
Yes.
2 minutes start now.
Uh, okay. Well, I had done my mechanical engineering from the college. So apart from my academic courses, I took one additional course that was related to campus interview preparation. And this course is basically a lot of companies comes to a college to recruit the fresh graduates directly from the college. So there are special screening test, like it starts with a written exam. This is not a technical test, but they are testing your logic and your attitude. Sorry, your logic and aptitude. Apart from that, there is a group discussion and there is a personal interview. So I took this course of a 1 week wherein they train the students how you can successfully clear this screening test, starting from how to build your logic and aptitude, how to talk in a group discussion, like you will be given a 10 group of students and they will be given you a topic wherein you have to debate. Either you can be on the topic or you can against the topic. So it kind of a personality development course for the passing of this campus interview, as well as there will be a personal interview followed by that. If you clear the first written test, if you clear the group discussion, then there will be a personal round, that will be a final round. So being a college students, most of us don't understand how to write your resume, how to show your achievements, your what you have done extraordinarily. So this course has really helped me, like how you can introduce in the interview, how you can answer it very well during the interview, what the examiner is asking you. So this course was of around 1 week, and if I look back, it's definitely has. It was the first time when I wrote my CV during this course after the college exam, like after my college course, and it really helped me building up my personality as well as getting me ready for the industry. Like after the college, I need to face the industry and the next new world, which is like a professional world wherein a lot of business people and you need to deal with how to write email, how to write letters. So this 1 week program has definitely added a lot of value to my experience, I would say. And I'm still implementing those learnings,
All
whether
right.
it is
Thank you
making a
so much,
PowerPoint
Mitul. You
presentation.
did great for the speaking test part
Yeah.
2. Are you now ready for the speaking test part 3?
Yes.
If you will be given a chance to take another course in the future that is not related to your current profession, what would it be and why?
Okay, definitely. If it is not linked to my profession, I would try to learn a photography, advanced photography, as a professional course, because I have a DSLR camera, but I'm not using it to the fullest capacity. And photography is a very vast field, I would say, and there are a lot of tips and tricks. Plus, I don't edit my photographs in a Photoshop or Adobe Lightroom, so I don't know that skill to how to just make a image much more looking. They do just a small bit correction, but the photo will change drastically. So I would love to take up a course on a photography if I am given an opportunity.
All right, lovely. Mitul, what are the disadvantages of taking postgraduate courses?
Well, I would not agree there are disadvantages, but it depends upon at what situation you are taking a postgraduate program. Like many of my friends, they went directly from the graduation, they switched over to the post graduation. So they didn't take a break or they didn't take any industrial experience after the graduation. So only disadvantage, I would say, that if you go directly from one college to another college without gaining any industrial experience, then certainly there are some disadvantages, like you don't have a what is the real world outside the college and outside your books, because you learn many things in the book, but that doesn't work in the real field. Everything, it is hardly only one chapter which is helping you to earn your bread and butter. So post graduation it adds value, but I would say that you need to take some break in between after the graduation, and then you should take.
Lovely. Mitul, which is better, art courses or science courses?
Art courses, right?
Which is
No.
better? Which is better, science courses
Okay.
or art courses?
Well, there is no single answer to this question, I would say. It depends upon individual's choice. Like somebody is a more scientific nature, like he loves more in the maths or the science phenomena and all. So for them, science would be a great choice if he want to become a doctor or engineer. So it depends upon individual's goal and his aim, what he want to become. Art is also equally important, I would say. It gives a lot of traditional touch and literature and the history. And if everybody will become a doctor, then we will be missing those journalists, those writers, and those innovative speakers. So I would say it depends upon individual's choice. One should not focus only science is good or only art is good. It depends, and it gives a balance to the society.
Lovely. Your speaking test now ends here. Mitul, what's your target score
Yeah.
for the speaking test for your naturalization application in Canada?
I think 6.5.
Just 6.5.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's start with the comments.
Okay.
Okay. Um, you really did great in part 3, actually. Your part 3 was excellent. Okay. Let's start with part 1.
Mhm.
You remember that I asked you a question and you kind of answered me directly. It was actually a close-ended question. And you just answered
Okay.
it without expounding. Actually, Mitul, you are a very fluent speaker.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, like your fluency is 7 and up. But my suggestion would be if you will be asked of close-ended questions, like
Mhm.
questions answered by single answers or answered by a yes or a no, for example, you need to expound further, just so
Correct. Correct.
just so the examiner will say that yeah, he's really fluent, is able to express further himself. But otherwise, it's just a technical stuff that you just need to be informed about. I mean, like you really don't have issues with fluency. Hmm, maybe one of my problems or one of my suggestions for you to improve would be in terms of delivery
Mhm.
and pronunciation.
Yeah.
There are times that you don't pronounce words really well, and I tend to go near the audio to hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
um you have noticed in part 1 I've been asking you questions that challenges you to describe, isn't it? I asked you about the
Mm.
festival. Yeah,
Yes.
and you told me about a festival. You actually mentioned about 2 festivals in your hometown. You mentioned about
Kite festival and
yeah,
Navratri.
sorry, it's here. You mentioned about this now Navratri and
Yes.
Ultran, but like I really had a hard time. Like I had to like go near the audio to hear it and to understand it
Yes.
better.
Yes.
Like the speakers or the examiners for the exam will not be able to understand local things or proper names. So every time you mention about proper names, like mention it very clearly.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. But like what's
Yeah,
good
they
with
are
you
not
is
actually, they are not English words, so it would be
right.
difficult to. But I can explain it, right? I
Yeah.
can say the local
Yeah.
word, and then I need to explain in
Right.
English what it is. Okay.
What's good with you is yeah, you explain it using an English word and you've explained further what happens in a kite festival, what happens in Navratri, like there's dance and there's traditional. Yeah, I didn't catch some of the words that you said, so maybe just with the delivery and the pronunciation, but like
Mhm.
otherwise it's very easy to improve on those things.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
another
Yes.
one, when I asked you to describe a festival, you mentioned about the 2 festivals and you tried your best to describe it, but it was just like using 2 sentences or like a sentence that you said that Ultran is a kite festival and people come there with their big kites and fly their kites and many people witness about it. And with the Navratri, you said it is a dance festival where there is this and that. Maybe just to show to the examiner that you're really fluent, I think you could describe further. You could add to your descriptions. You could add more to your
Mhm.
descriptions. Yeah, because fluency will test if you can really comprehensively speak or describe things or explain things. But like with the part three, you really did great with the part three. Like your
Mhm.
explanations were very intact, your ideas were good, and um, like just the way you delivered it, it's very natural. Okay, next. The most negative impact of language barrier to society. Hold on. What's good with you is when I ask you about the most negative impact of language barrier to society, I know you had a hard time with the question.
Mhm.
So you made a good strategy. You tried to make an introductory statement first, just to give you time to think on how you will answer the question. That's good.
Mhm.
Mm, and another thing that I noticed is when you explain things, you give examples. Like for
Mhm.
example, you explained that one of the negative impact of language barrier to society would be difficulty in communicating, and you gave a very substantial example.
Correct.
And I think that is a very good strategy in expounding your ideas in order for the examiner to see that you have really good fluency in English.
Okay.
Right. Course in college, part two. Right. In part two, you are presented with four questions. You are asked about a course that you wanted to share to us, and you were asked to describe the course. You were also asked when you took it and why did you take it. So, as I was hearing your answer, it seems that you were only able to answer three questions: what the course
Mhm.
is, like
Mhm.
sorry, two questions: what the course is and what you learned. And basically you were trying to tell us that you learned writing stuff in that course, and you gave examples how you were able to apply those writing skills that you've learned in this course, like in the actual field when you were at work already. But you were not able to tell us like when you exactly took it and
Okay.
why you took it. So basically, part two is kind of asking you to answer really the questions. Okay,
Correct.
so task response is very important also in IELTS speaking. It doesn't ask you to give the best answers. It just asks you to express yourself by answering this question. But when you're being asked, you need to like respond to what is being asked.
But
Yeah.
somewhere I get to know that these are the only pointers. Like you need to go in the
Mm.
same flow, or you need to cover like most of them.
Mm.
Even if you miss one, but you need to speak around those questions or around that topic. This
Yeah.
is what one of the tutor they explained to me.
Yeah. Well, based on my personal experience, when I took the IELTS, I tried to use the cue card as my flow, and I made sure that I was able to
Yeah.
answer all the questions because like fluency is being graded in the speaking test. So when you will try to like talk about something that is not with the that is not within the cue card, and you haven't actually finished answering the questions in the cue
Mhm.
card, the examiner might think that it's a prepared answer, and he
Okay.
will not be able to like grade your fluency really well. But
Mhm.
actually you did fine in speaking test part two. It's just that maybe my main issue with you is with the pronunciation, and I think that can
Pronunciation.
really be greatly improved. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That is one
Yeah.
of my weakness. I know that. Yeah.
Right. And actually, you started your answer with speaking test part two by like telling a story, which is really good. And you
Mhm.
presented the process on how you applied for this course, isn't it? That you had to
Yeah.
undergo an exam, you had to like undergo the interview, and actually before the interview, there's this series of activity that wherein the applicants are trying to debate on topics, and maybe the teacher, the professor, can try to gauge their abilities on analyzing topics. You mentioned those things.
Correct.
So I mean, like you were able to explain it comprehensively, but for me, I think it would be better if like you have answered like the two other questions, like when you
Mhm.
exactly took it and like why you took it. But your answers
Okay.
for speaking test part are very substantial because I've noticed your technique is you answer the question first directly and then you expound really well.
Mhm.
And you need to be consistent with that because in part one there are questions where you answer the question directly and you just gave like short expounding to the question to the answer, like especially when I ask you about the festival. So
Yeah.
actually, in part one, most of the questions there are basic questions and questions that asks you to describe, because the examiner wanted to gauge your fluency if you're really good at describing things. Because usually that is the weakness of most people when we're asked to describe things.
But generally,
Right.
is it correct that part one would be your answer should be short, like 2 to 3 sentences?
Well, actually, based on my experience in part one, I was asked 6 questions,
Hmm.
and I answered 2 sentences depending on like how hard the question is. Sometimes I answer 3, 4, 5 questions, and maybe because I speak a little faster, it did not really matter.
Hmm.
I was not stopped by the examiner.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you
What
you
I
just go on answering until he
Yeah.
stops you. You can just speak. Yeah.
Yeah, you just need to go on,
Okay.
because I remember when I took the IELTS for the US visa screen, in part three, I was really into the question, and like when I answered that question, it was really flowy, and I spoke lots of things about the question. The examiner just said that, yeah, that's enough. I'm satisfied.
Correct.
Right.
Because
Your
Mr. Keith, what they suggest, like what he has taught in his course, like part one, your answer should be short and
Hmm.
sweet, not too elaborative like a part three.
Because actually, I've been trying to read the questions that were sent to me by Sir Jeff. And
Hmm.
I've taken the IELTS twice. One is for the US and one is
Okay.
for the UK. For me, like not all questions in part one are easy questions.
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes there are questions in part one that really asks you to explain further.
Hmm.
So for me,
Okay.
it really depends. Your part three is very spontaneous. Like when you answer the questions in part three, like when I ask you about what is this? I forget the questions that I asked you in part three. When I ask you about the postgraduate course, is what are the
Disadvantages.
disadvantage, isn't it? Like your answer about industrial experience is really good. It's very substantial.
Hmm.
Yeah, and what's good with you is you have this technique where after you have answered the question, you end your answer or you end your statement with a conclusion that will express to the examiner your standpoint to the question.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and another suggestion is if you don't understand the examiner, you need to
Yeah.
express like this. Just
Yes.
don't just make signals that you don't understand. You need to express that,
Okay.
hey, Mr. Examiner, I'm sorry, can you please pardon me, can you please repeat the questions? A
Correct. Correct.
question I
Correct.
think
Correct.
I did not I didn't I wasn't able to catch up with the question, because eventually this
Correct.
is a
Correct.
speaking test and your ability to speak is being gauged.
Correct. Correct.
Right, lovely. If you
Agree.
just need 6.5 for your speaking, I think your performance is a 7 for me.
Okay.
Your mini
I
shoes
have
just
an
with the
exam.
pronunciation.
I have an exam on 12th, coming 12th,
Right,
after 3 days.
just improve with the pronunciation. Yeah,
Yes,
there
yes, yes.
there's no prescribed accent, but like just be very well versed when you try to pronounce things,
Correct.
because your voice is recorded and there will be 3 examiners who will grade you.
Okay.
So the first examiner will be the actual one in front of you, and the record will be sent here in England in Cambridge University, and there will be 2 other examiners who will listen to the audio and who will
Okay.
give you a grade, and the 3 grades will be added up, and the
Average.
average will be taken. That will be your final grade for the speaking test.
Okay.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, it's a 6.5
Yeah,
or
yeah, it's
7.
okay.
It's a 7. You did great,
Yeah.
Mitul. Just
Yeah.
the
Thank you very much.
pronunciation. Yeah, lovely.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much.